Good Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. 23rd of May, 2020. And, just some opinions on the Gateway Pundit. First of all, I want to say their head story, which was yesterday at 2:08 p.m. Christina Layla, Liilaila, Kayleigh McEnany blows up Obamagate, calls out media for ignoring Flynn unmasking, then exits the room like a boss. I saw that, and she laid out 5 questions that, as far as I'm concerned, corporate media, you work for me, you're getting kickbacks from the government, you're getting tax dollars, you're getting funding. I want the facts. I want the truth. I don't want your damn spin on it. I'll put my own spin on it. That's my right. You are to report the facts. That's number 1. Then there's one here regarding Seth Rich. It says, after attorney obtains evidence, U.S. government has communications between Seth Rich and WikiLeaks. DOJ again refuses requests to perform additional search. What are you doing, Barr? This young man was murdered for information that he had. He was murdered. He wasn't murdered in a botched robbery. Because let me tell you something. Anybody who's going to put 2 bullets in the back of somebody is going to steal their wallet. Come on. This was a hit. DNC hit. We know what happened. We're not stupid. The American people are starting to wake up. We've got another one here. Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden's charitable organizations refuse to reveal sources of their funding, i.e., China. Go figure. There's no connections between this man and China, though. Not at all. I don't know. You'd be a fool to think otherwise. Joe Biden's a fraud. And come to think of it, 90% of these politicians are frauds. Sweeney and Parcells in New Jersey. Oh, we're fighting back against the governor, stay-at-home order. No, you're not. You're blowing him. What's it like? What's it like? Never blown an alcoholic before. There's another one here. So it turns out that Governor Whitmer sent COVID-19 patients across the state to regional hubs to spread the virus, but kept patients out of a 1,000-bed TCF center in Detroit. And it turns out that the 20-year-old guy who was using that elderly man in the nursing home as a punching bag was one of these patients that was sent to the nursing home with coronavirus. This is on the governor of Michigan. She sent people knowingly, people that were infected, to work in nursing homes. This is insane. And the look on this woman's face in this picture, that is a soulless individual. There's no soul behind those eyes. That is pure evil. That is the devil. Same thing with this porker in Illinois. Pritzker. Pritzker is another deep state black hat who thinks he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Get away with it, and nobody's going to say anything. Whitmer, Pritzker, Brown in Washington State, you guys are seriously demented. I understand that Michiganders are not allowed to travel to their summer homes, but the governor's cars are at her summer home. Go figure. And then we have one here, Amy Klobuchar. She was running for the Democratic nominee for president, but she got silenced, just like Yang, and just like the National Guard woman from Hawaii. I can't even think of her name now, which is really awful. I would have voted for her. I wish she would have done something to get on the radar for the president, because I think she would be a great foreign policy advisor to the next administration. And I say the next administration because there's no way, after the statement Joe Biden made on the Breakfast Club, I didn't hear it live, but when I heard the replay and I had to rewind it, I said, there's no way he just said that. And son of a bitch, he did. I watch several American commentators who happen to be black. One of them is an ex-Marine, well, former Marine. He runs a channel, Icons. And his title said it all. He goes, Joe Biden says I'm not black. He's right. I'm American. I don't care where you're from, what color you are. You either have the same basic beliefs that Americans have, or you don't. You either believe in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, right to bear arms, your Third Amendment, your Fourth Amendment, your right against illegal search and seizures, the right to be in your person's papers and effects completely secure, your right to remain silent, your right to a jury trial. These folks that are out there saying, oh, you don't need the Second Amendment. Well, you don't need your Eighth. You aware most people don't even know what their Eighth Amendment is. Your Eighth Amendment's your right against cruel and unusual punishment. Let me take that away from you. Oh, things would be different then. So, this one here, Amy Klobuchar, admits miracle drug hydroxychloroquine saved her husband's life. Saved her husband's life. And then yesterday we get a smiling Dr. Fauci. This guy there's something in his closet, and I hope it comes out. There's definitely something in this man's closet that needs to be exposed. But he says he now says staying closed too long could cause irreparable damage after using junk model to destroy the economy. Irreparable damage? Let's go to one more. Again, Gateway Pundit. Let's go to a few more. Washington State is classifying several shootings as COVID-19 deaths. I'm going to repeat that one. Washington State is classifying several shootings as COVID-19 deaths. What the fuck? What? How is that classified as a COVID-19 death? How? Explain that to me. Were they putting the person out of their misery to stop them from spreading it? I mean, you're not explaining. Then we've got a couple more here. Prince Charles tells jobless Brits to go pick fruits and vegetables during lockdown. Wow, Prince Charles, you are really, really incredibly just asinine. And there's another 42 miles of contract for border wall awarded, 1.3 billion. I'll spend my money on that. This is from the Gateway Pundit. This is from yesterday, 2:40 p.m. They've really been blowing up a lot of information here. You got a gentleman here. He says, we need better experts. CDC admits coronavirus mortality ratio is similar to the 1957-58 flu pandemic, where no lockdown was needed. Folks, if you can't put two and two together and realize that this was all a ploy. Everything about this was a scam. The economy was literally running balls out, full on. We became the economic center of the world. We blew the NASDAQ up. We blew the Dow Jones up. We were literally sinking China and the European Union. There were no close seconds to us. And now, all of a sudden, we can't work. And you've got Democrat governors, Whitmer, Murphy, Cuomo, Northam, or as Tucker Carlson calls him, Klan robe blackface. And every time on Twitter I see a story about him, I put up that hashtag because it's the truth. We have to realize that we are losing our rights. When the president has to come out on a Friday before Memorial Day, after a horrible church getting burned down in Mississippi, I believe it was. I mean, you burned down a church because people were going to worship? That is their own risk. I'm allowed to take risks with myself. You're allowing people to go hook up on Grindr and raw dog each other, but I can't go to worship at church? You got beer stores open, right? It was really important for beer stores to be open, according to Murphy on Tucker Carlson interview. And by the way, the Bill of Rights is above his pay grade. What are we doing? There's an opportunity here for people who are smart. There's an opportunity here. And that opportunity is you can either continue on your path of destruction, or you can realize who you are, what you are, own up to it, and move forward. I mean, there's some serious, here's a breaking exclusive. Evidence indicates that the entire plot to prevent President Trump from winning in 2016 election and then governing if he won stayed Italy. If he won started in Italy. So here's somebody who's obviously working with the deep state. Just, nice photo op with the former president. This gentleman here, he's outraged. He said, arrogant, condescending, outrageous. Senator Tim Scott, black voters respond to Biden's "you ain't black" comment. The fact that you can sit there, anybody, I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're black, white, Latino. I don't care. I don't care what part of the world you're from. You have the right to vote for who you want to vote for in this country. And if that statement from Thursday morning didn't open up 15 million people's eyes, then I don't know what's going to. I really don't. I have no clue what's going to wake you up. I don't know. I don't know how you are going to sit here and tell me that, that would be like you telling me because I'm gay, I've got to vote Democrat. I'm a conservative. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not registered a Republican or Democrat. I'm direct middle of the road. Conservative middle of the road. I don't drive fast. I don't drive hard. I live at base means possible. I try to save my money. I try not to drink too much, but that's, with the lockdown, what else can you do? You can't go outside. You can't go find work. So, my opinion is this. Here's the goal of the Democrat governors. They either want to force you out of their states. Because remember, pro-lifers and pro-2A'ers weren't welcome in New York City, weren't welcome in New York State. Well, you just ousted a lot of people in New York State. I believe 100,000 people left in the last 2 years. That's a lot of tax revenue there, Mr. Cuomo. That's a lot of tax revenue. By the way, I find you to be an embarrassment to the Italian people. I hope that people aren't using you as a representative for Italy or people that are Italian. Because you are Fredo. You and your brothers, you're both Fredos. You don't have a clue. You just keep pandering to certain groups. So you'll pander to the African Americans. I'm sorry, Black Americans. I'm sorry, Americans. Forget about the color of their skin, they're Americans. You'll pander to the criminal trespassers. You're pandering to the gays, lesbians, transgenders. By the way, that's an illness. Transgenderism is an illness. Gay is not an illness. Liking the same sex is not an illness. When you want to alter your body with surgery, that's an illness. That should not be allowed. That's self-harm, self-deprecating. You can't harm yourself like that. Sorry, you just can't. We have been pushed down this road, and it needs to stop. We've been, folks like me have been pumping the brakes, and unfortunately, those brake pads and brake shoes are almost gone. And these folks, these Democratic, these anti-American governors, forget what side they are, because you've got Mitt Romney, who claims to be a Republican, and he's all for mail-in voting. Why is that? Why is that? He said, awful Mitt Romney joins with Democrats to support mail-in voting. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? You can't. I have the right to go in person to vote. So I know my ballot is cast and there's no fraud involved. You've just had a Philadelphia representative arrested, charged, and convicted of stuffing ballot boxes. Federal. That's a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem. When you have folks showing up with truckloads of ballots that we don't know where they came from, there's no postmarks on them, so we can't even track them. There is a plot at the upper echelon of this government, the highest upper echelon, to enslave every man, woman, and child in the United States of America. That was said November 15th, 1963. It was said by John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He knew what was going on. He also said he wanted to break up the CIA and splinter them and scatter them into the wind in a million pieces. Because he knew they were evil. He knew what they were doing. The difference is we have the internet now. YouTube is scaling back its censoring because it's about to lose one of its largest producers, Joe Rogan. He's going to a different company because he doesn't want to be censored. I don't like Bill Maher, but Bill Maher called out YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter 2 years ago when He said, you might not like what Alex Jones says. I don't like what he says. I don't agree with what he says. But Alex Jones gets to speak because it's the American way of life. I might not agree with what you're saying, but I will die to defend your right to say it. You're not going to silence anyone. I don't want to shut up a liberal. I don't want to shut up a progressive. I want to hear what they have to say. But in the same respect, I want to be heard. And the other thing is, we've got to move past this thinking with your feelings. Feelings are your own. Feelings are your own. They're yours. They're your piece of the pie. Because if I used my feelings to make logical decisions, I wouldn't be here right now. My feelings have destroyed a lot in my life. My lack of control of my anger, of some of the things I've said and done. You know, we can't regret them. We can move forward from them and learn from them. We the people, mankind, humankind, after all this death from this disease, some of which was spread on purpose. I mean, the horrible policies of the New York governor where COVID patients were forced back into nursing homes. The most vulnerable were in these nursing homes. I think anybody who lost a loved one in a nursing home in New York should directly sue Andrew Cuomo. And that goes for New Jersey as well. New Jersey, the government in New Jersey is a cesspool. People appointed to positions where they have no clue what they're doing. They are not qualified for these positions. But because of a certain creed or religion or whatever, they got the job. I'm not going to hire somebody to do the brakes on my car who's never done brakes on a car before. Why is that? Because I'm not going to be that test dummy. Our governor here in New Jersey said if we don't like how the unemployment's being handled, he's not firing his friend. That's his friend, and he's doing a great job. And, you know, here it is. Well, I have a problem with this. Your buddy's failing. Your buddy's failing. But because he's a friend of yours, you have to keep him employed, right? That's nonsense. I don't want to hear this nonsense. I'm sorry. No one's discussing the fact that people are missing $600 for 2 weeks in a row. I called the governor's office yesterday and they told me that, oh, that's from the federal. And I'm looking at my banking statement from today. I just got it today. And it says my normal unemployment comes from New Jersey. And then I get another unemployment from New Jersey. But she told me that that comes from the federal. But I said it comes right from the state. What are you talking about? My first unemployment check came in. And then 6 days later, I got the federal. And then 7 days later, I got another federal plus my unemployment. And then 7 days later, another federal, and then my unemployment. And then I got my check, my stimulus check. And then I got my unemployment 4 days later, but no 600. So, you tell me what's going on. You tell me, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, because I don't think the people of the United States are even aware of how incredibly corrupt these leaders are, whether they Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Power corrupts absolutely. And someone like Murphy, who should have never been elected. But he was elected. And he was elected based on lies. He told people he was legalizing weed and $15 minimum hour, at $15 minimum wage. And he bought your votes. First of all, if you really cared about smoking weed, which a lot of you do, you'd be smoking it anyway. It doesn't need to be legal. It's legal. It's a plant. It grows in the fucking ground. And I'm all for that. I mean, if you're willing to put the work in while you do your normal job, pay your taxes, if you're willing to put that work in to grow your own weed, more power to you, man. God bless you. I partake once in a while. I don't have the time, nor do I have the energy to grow a plant for recreation use. I grow tomatoes, basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme, string beans, and cucumbers. This is what I grow. And it's because I eat all of that stuff. If I had enough space, I would have 25 raised beds, and I'd be growing everything I need for me to be sustained without obviously having meat, but whatever. I don't understand. All you people that are so into the weed, grow your own. Don't let the government tell you that you can't grow 5-6 plants in your backyard. Who cares? It's your property. You're not selling it. You're not making a profit on it, so therefore you don't need to be taxed on it. But that's not what it was about. It was about power and control. I had this conversation with a neighbor of mine, and my neighbor has some issues. I won't get into what he does, but I said it's about control. That's what these people get off on, control. If they can control 8 million people in New Jersey, they're at home practically choking themselves, beating off. Okay? Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But I will tell you this. That control slips into something a lot worse. The folks that are trying to control these areas have got a big rude awakening happening. The people that are involved in this are going to have to face serious consequences. And those consequences are going to be not getting reelected, and then, if I'm not mistaken, with this AG Barr, which I got mixed emotions about him. He's a good guy, but I know where he came from. I know he used to work for a couple administrations that were real dirty. But I think he's probably, once these people are out of office and they lose that immunity, they're going to end up going down for their crimes. And that's what I could only hope. So, that's my stories today. But let's hope that we get better at this, because mainstream media is obviously dying. And it's going to be up to us getting the information out. So, God bless. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope it's not raining where you are, because it certainly is here. And that's normal. But hey, I'm on vacation every day, right? God bless. Good luck.